Welcome back from that short break. Like I said earlier, we are reviewing pre- and post-election activities that could have swayed the result anywhere, maybe different from what we saw some days ago. Thank you again for being part of the program, Honorable Kalgo.
It's a pleasure.
Right. Let's just dive into the PDP. And if you have to, in retrospect, look at what transpired, let's look at the G5 that happened, that divide that we saw. If you have to look back, do you think the G5 concept affected what eventually happened? I mean, it was announced by INEC that although it was a keenly fought contest, the PDP came second in especially the presidential race. Let's start there. What do you think really affected the outcome of the elections?
Thank you. I would like to make it very clear. The G5 did not affect our campaign strategy and the whole campaign trend because we won the election.
You still are of the opinion that the PDP won the presidential polls?
It's very much clear.
Right.
Yes. It's all obvious. And
we'll get to that part.
Okay. So, and if you look at it closely, yeah, they are sitting governors. I would like to say, we'll say like, okay, we'll have loved to have them on the train. And then also from the PDP itself, we also have one or two mistakes, which we are also trying to rectify now. Things for now, we're in the court already, and which we strongly believe we are going to get our mandate back.
Right.
So with that, we'll keep pushing, and we'll see what's coming up next for it. And as well, we are preparing to get our mandate back as well. We, even the younger ones, are also trying to build a new team that will come up and then see how we can rebuild the party to become a party where it can be unbreakable, because we don't want to have something like all this G5 again.
Right.
We're trying to make things right now.
Okay. Now, do you think more reconciliation should have happened? I mean, more efforts should have been made to get the G5 reconciled? Because while you might say that it did not affect the elections proper, there are some people who were sympathetic to the G5 move. So would you say that if you have to look back, there could have been more efforts? Is there something your party regrets at the moment?
As we stand now, we don't regret anything. And just like I said to you, it's politics. In politics, there's no permanent enemy, no permanent friend. We need everybody on board.
Right.
And as I also said earlier, we won the election without them. Everybody, it's clear, the election was rigged massively. Because if you look around, the media is there, evidence are there. Nobody can show you whereby a PDP candidate or a PDP member or any of the senior members of the PDP or anybody working for the PDP rigging election. No, but the two major parties, it's clear, everybody, you can see it there.
When you say two major parties in this regard, who are you referring to?
It's obvious, the APC and the Labour Party.
Rigged elections?
Of course they do. We have evidence everywhere.
That the APC and Labour Party rigged elections?
It's clear. It's on the social media, where you can see PDP talks, APC talks, calling on the voters to make sure that they vote for APC, or they make sure they vote for the Labour Party. And there was even this video that we watched. The Labour Party voters, people who are just on the queue, a member of the Labour Party is just calling them, top printing for them on and on.
Right.
So you wonder, like, where...
And you're very confident you didn't see any that makes the PDP complicit in this? We
were very prepared. We came in and we won the election. It was rigged. What we planned and what we put on ground so far, we start preparing for this election since 2019. And then we get all our things in a perfect position.
Right.
We have the
Was it perfect enough? I mean, we saw somebody who was caught with lots of money, and it was alleged that the person is PDP and had a list of people who he was supposed to distribute this monies to, some of which were security agencies and INEC personnel. So when you say it was just the Labour Party and the APC, some of people watching you right now might just chuckle. There were places in this country where we also saw the PDP complicit doing what would a lot of people would term electoral violence as well. So it's laughable for some people that you are exonerating or alienating yourself from some of the hurdles we found. And you said rigging, and I wanted to know if you believe that with this, you say you have evidence and you're going to court with that. Do you believe that it would be reason for a rerun? Is that what you're still pursuing at this point? Because your presidential candidate had also said he should just be declared winner. That's Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He wants INEC to declare him winner. But it's confusing at the moment. Do you want to just be declared winner, or you want a rerun of the elections? Exactly what is the PDP asking for?
The INEC have two options.
Right.
It's either they declare him winner because he's the true winner of the 2023 last general presidential election.
In your opinion?
Yes, and or rerun for the presidential election, because it is clear and obvious. You can see what happened in the last election. PDP is a peace-loving party, and we are one family that we're trying to see that, okay, we have a better Nigeria.
Right.
The people have voted for Atiku Abubakar, the PDP candidate. So why now deny him his own mandate? This is not about Atiku Abubakar anymore. It's about the Nigerians who voted for Atiku Abubakar.
Right.
The millions of Nigerians who voted for Atiku Abubakar. Because if you look at it closely, you can see many of the world powers could not even congratulate the APC candidates.
We saw some who congratulated.
The major ones.
Right. What do you? I'm
we have
curious.
the world powers.
Right. Who do you consider world power?
It's there everywhere. You can, most of them are the American presidents, some of the European presidents, which is abnormal. On a normal basis, like what you saw on the last presidential election when Buhari won his election, 2015, they congratulated him. In 2019, they did the same.
And that election did not have rigging, because your presidential candidate was also a candidate in that election, and he called it foul that there was rigging as well. So would we do away with that? Because he insists that he also won the 2015 elections.
Well, we don't want to go back in time now. Now we're in
2019, actually, yes.
Yes, so now we're trying to see how we can amend things. Now we want to make sure that things are right.
No, we're going back. I'm just looking in retrospect to the fact that world powers congratulated President Muhammad Buhari when he emerged. And even in that, despite those congratulations, your presidential candidate had also called foul for that, the process and the conduct of that elections. Would you then say that now that you look back, that election was not rigged, you didn't have the hurdles that we had in this polls?
Like I said to you, PDP is a law-abiding party, and same likewise, Atiku Abubakar is also a law-abiding citizen. The court of Supreme Court has passed its own judgment in 2019 election, and then we go with it. We have no choice. That is the decision of the court.
We'll get to your trust in the judiciary this time, because I want to ask, which is it? The Labour Party insists that they have a situation room where they have collated the results, and with what their agents have given them and with what they observed, they also won these elections. The same thing is going for the PDP. In fact, the Labour Party, I listened to a sister channel where the running mate of the president, the presidential candidate rather, said it was above 8 million. That's the votes that they got. And I've also listened to the PDP, that's your political party, talk very strongly about how much they won this election. So which is it? Is it the Labour Party? Is it PDP? Which is it?
Labour Party don't even have a case.
They do not have a case?
They don't have any case because they have no even 24 states
they stipulated in the Electoral Act.
Yes, they don't have it. And now they are claiming, so what are they actually claiming for?
They claim that they do. They claim that they
it?
do have it, and then
Where
they
is
had
it? It is
8 million spread all over, including the FCT.
Where is it? They have, I think was it 19 or 18 states or 25% they have. So what are they actually fighting for? So the fight is not even, I don't even want to bring a Labour Party in this. This is between APC and the PDP.
But for people who are listening to you right now and listening to the Labour Party also make claims to the to having won, you must believe understand why they might be confused at the moment. Which is it? And in my naive, call me naive, but I sometimes feel like maybe before you come to the Supreme Court, maybe the Labour Party and the PDP should first of all resolve who won the elections, and then whoever they decide won the elections, then we now see the hurdle. Because for instance, if the Supreme Court has the court sitting with the PDP at first, there would be another hurdle with the other political parties, because we see the contention around the election. So what do you think? Should we have the Labour Party and PDP contend first, and we get to know by whatever ruling the Supreme Court will give as to who won first before you come to the APC? Because we have three people who are making claims to the same elections.
You know, this is democracy. It's all about number. Now somebody that came third is trying to fight for his rights, for his mandate. And then the Constitution says you must have at least 25% in each, at least 24 states, including the FCT. And now you don't even have this percentage in your own side. Okay, now good and fine. Now you say, okay, you want to go to court and fight for it. Well, it's a good luck for me, for the Labour Party, but I suggest what the best for the Labour Party is to come, strategize, and then see how we can work as a team together. Because we are all fighting the APC, because we are fighting the bad governance of the APC, all the suffering we have suffered since 2015. And then you look at it very closely. Peter Obi recently, it's not of the year that he left the PDP.
Right.
We all one family.
It was even less before he picked the Labour Party
absolutely,
card.
because he was actually feeling as if like, okay, he's afraid of the city, the governors who are claiming that, okay, we're going to get the presidential candidate among us, the vice presidential candidate among us, and the Senate president as well. So it's something that scares him away to leave the party, which he did. Well, we know how important he was then, but we have no choice. Okay, he can go and form his own new party. Then he came up with the Labour Party now. Now you look at it closely. Who are we all fighting for? The PDP. And the PDP and the Labour Party have to come together and work as a team so that we can fight this common enemy that we have. Then from there, then we can know what is the way forward.
Right.
Well, I can't say anything much about the Labour Party being on their court issue. I can only talk about the PDP because it's what I know.
However, when you think back, do you think maybe you should also have gotten the Labour Party, Peter Obi, right now in the PDP, because the momentum behind him, the support he garnered is unprecedented. For a third force, if as you agreed, he came third in that election. Before I even get to if your evidence, I'm sure you people have collated results. Do you, in your new collation, the one that's different from INEC, does he also come third in that your collation?
We are not even counting on Obi. Our problem is just the PDP, and then the only thing what we are fighting for.
Because you just agreed that he came third. Somebody who came third in the elections. If you agree that he came third, it means to some extent you believe what INEC collated.
That is what they said.
That's what.
Why are we in the court? It's because they said we come second. Does it mean that we believe that we come second? No.
Okay, let me go back to the first question. Now, in retrospect, do you think that you should not have let Peter Obi go? He could probably have been a good addition with the kind of support he eventually garnered.
Politics is all about number. No politician wants to lose a single vote.
And yet you let Peter Obi go.
He has his own opinion. It's not like a prison where they say you must stay. He has his own opinion. He can decide to leave. He can decide to come back at any given time. We did all we can, like, okay, to say, okay, let's make sure that we work as a team. Now you compare Peter Obi and then the G5 governors then. Does it mean like, okay, we don't like them to be in our team? Surely we do like them, but it is their own choice. What they feel like, okay, this is what they want to do, this is where they want to go. So the party allowed them, okay, you can do it. Unlike the other parties, I think it was the other parties they could have fired them suspension or expelled them from the party. But that's not how PDP are, because we're all trying to see how we can unite this country, how we can move as one Nigeria. That was the whole plan that PDP, our whole planning to have immediately after we won the presidential election. But unfortunately, INEC declared Tinubu as a winner. So now we're fighting for it, and then hopefully we are also calling on the G5 governors. I'm surely some of them will start joining to see how we can work hand in hand to get the stolen mandate back.
Are you sure it's something that the G5 that stood so much against? They were very vocal about the structure of the PDP. They were against the emergence of a northern flag bearer and a northern, what they considered a northern national chairman, and they fought till after the elections. Are you sure it is something they will want to consider to now join the fight? Because I remember Governor Wike, who seemed to be the leader of the PDP, saying that he got himself a drink to watch the protest when your flag bearer led some of your followers to INEC to, I think, submit a petition against the conduct of the elections. So having seen all of that, being so vocal, in fact, at some point, some of us thought it was quite abusive towards your flag bearer. Do you think it is, at this point, you will see that synergy again or collaboration with this G5 that have been so opposing of the PDP?
How many of them lost their election? Benue lost their election.
Abia lost, yes.
So these are the things that you all need to look at properly. Okay, which part do they want to stand? Is it the winning team or the losing team? Now we can have just few months to go as a sitting
When you say the winning team, a lot of people would say, if you say the winning team, they should rather align with the APC, whether before the court proclamation, whenever that may be, the APC is the winning team at the moment.
How many people did you see jumping from PDP to APC?
Oh, when you talk about that.
Let me refresh back, like what happened in 2015. The moment the APC, President Muhammadu Buhari become the president-elect, you can see the massive decamp to APC. Now you compare to what's happening currently now. Nobody's even decamping because there's nothing to show. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So what is happening? Then you ask yourself a question. And even when they declare him a winner, there was we can't even see jubilation around the country. As if like nothing happened. Just few corners of a few states, not of like 5 or 6 or 7.
That you see jubilation.
Unlike what happened in 2015, where Buhari won the election. You can see the jubilation was everywhere, all around the country, everywhere. And even when the 2019, even there was some fracas and everything there, you can see some people still jubilate. I'm not sure why the jubilation matters so much. I keep listening to people say there's no jubilation. I have seen a lot of people actually jubilate, because you must admit that people voted for Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. You must admit, because I mean, he's a human being. I'm sure he has followers. So those followers, however numbers you actually believe he garnered, must be excited that their candidate won. Because he's not the people's choice. That's the truth about it.
Or the people who are vocals' choice, because we saw also, if you follow by jubilations on social media, also you would think that it is justified to see Atiku second place. We also, if you are following by jubilations you see on social media platforms, we did not see him in so much good light, especially on social media, if that's where we are setting the standard for.
When you say people who are vocal, are you talking about, let me say, just the city people or just very few of them? What happened in 2015 and 2019? Those people were not vocal. They are locals.
Some of them died in the jubilation, actually.
So who died? I'm not saying that
maybe that is what deterred them. I'm not just saying that. Maybe that's what deterred them. Because the jubilation, some got out of hand in jubilating the emergence of the president. It got out of hand. Could that have been why they are now deterred and say, okay, we are now more civil. We can jubilate in our homes and maybe not be on the streets like we saw?
we can see many devolution across the states
Right.
when they select, some governors win their elections.
Okay, well, it's time to call for a break right now. We're still talking about reviewing the pre and post-election activities. This is Joy Asonye Live. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is still Joy Asonye Live, and we've been discussing reviewing pre and post-election activities with Honorable Idris Ibrahim Kalgo. He is a national team lead of the Article Youth Wing. He's a political analyst, and let's just continue the conversation right now. Now, would you say that the protest that happened was really necessary? Because it didn't seem to have changed much. We also saw you align with the Labour Party during the coalition, the national coalition, in a bid to stop the INEC chairman from continuing the coalition. Would you say that all these moves have been in any way productive to your bid to have a rerun or review the elections, and as you constantly, I mean the PDP now constantly says?
You know, many people are actually getting it wrong. The protest was not actually a major protest.
Right.
It was just for him to go and submit a petition to the INEC. If Atiku Abubakar will call for a protest, the whole Abuja will be shut down.
The Abuja that PDP couldn't even win.
It's a different case. That's voters.
Right.
You're talking about people that collected the PVC. Don't forget, how many people collected PVC? 90 something, about 91 or 92 million. How many people voted?
Just about 25 million.
So now you can see, it's not about you even just winning a particular place.
Why would you say, in your words, why would you say we saw that apathy? I mean, that's a huge number of people. For once in our election, we're seeing a governor win with about 2,000 votes, you know, in some states. There's obviously a disconnect there. So what, in your words, what would you say?
For a presidential,
right,
it's very, very poor. There was a time we have a presidential candidate that scored about almost getting to 20 million.
Million, exactly.
Just one person. And then now we have a winner who scored just 8 million with about 91 million PVC collected. We expected about like 60 to 70 million people should vote. That's where we all, the politicians, the INEC and the government also need to do well. We need to educate people. People need to know how important it is to vote.
Apart from the government, I mean, you are the national team lead of the Article Youth Wing. That's your purview right there. What would you say you didn't do right in convincing young people to go out there and vote? Instead of just saying that the government should have done more. It's more in the interest of political parties, especially people like you who are leading, who work very closely with that department, which is the youth, and is a very massive one.
Under the Youth Wing, we have about almost 1.3 million people who voted.
That's still not enough.
Know? But we tried. If just the Youth Wing can get up to that number, how many people do we have that can do the same? So now you tell me, if like 1,000 people like me should do the same, what do you expect? How many people are going to vote? One person cannot change the situation, but in the process whereby we all come work as a team, we can do a lot. So let me go back to the protest issue. It was just something that's okay, let's do this so that we can just submit this. I want to go there myself and do it. This is somebody that personally asks thousands of people not to even attend. He just wants to go and submit this and go and nothing more.
But that can't be true. I mean, we saw in the papers prior to the protest that he was going to have a protest. I mean, what followers, of course, would naturally.
What did the letter say? PDP governors, BOT members, the NWC members, and the PDP members. That was what he said. It did not say general public. I myself personally, I received so many calls would I have to decline. No, don't come, stay. We'll just go and do this and go back. But trust me, if Atiku Abubakar should call for a protest, you will be surprised because you will see the number of people that will troop in. So it's not just like a no.
It's only natural for somebody who got as much as more than 7 million votes in the election. That's the INEC declared election, of course. 7 million is a lot. So yes, I agree with you totally. But does it really work? For some who looked at it and said, just go to court. Does it really work? And when speaking about going to court, what's your trust level when it comes to the judiciary? I remember your president-elect, when he was given a press release once, he said that, I mean, he does not trust the judiciary himself very much, but he's just hoping they will do the right thing now. That's not a very optimistic person. That's somebody who is going there and not even having his hopes up. But for you, would you say you trust the judicial system and to deliver what you think is the true result?
Well, for me, I do trust the judiciary, and then I also believe that President Muhammadu Buhari is going to do justice there, because it's something that he always says, that we're going to make sure we reform the judiciary, and then this is one of the legacy that we expect him to leave, because if he gives the people's mandate back, I'm telling you, Buhari is going to be one of the people that will be remembered in this country as one of the biggest hero of this country, and the whole world will respect him for that.
And maybe you will see the jubilation you're talking about.
Exactly, everywhere we'll see it. Trust me.
And not the Labour Party, because it's beginning to feel like if it doesn't go your way, it is not the right way. Is that the case here?
We are law-abiding citizens and party. Whatever the court decides, we find out whether we'll go with it.
What's giving you this much confidence that you indeed won? I mean, you have told us that you have evidence, but can you share some of those evidence with us? Some of us are very curious to know. What is this evidence you have?
You will get them bit by bit by the moment we start
Just give me a bit.
That's
I'm sure you
why
can
in
do
court.
that.
There's no need for me to give you one now.
I
That's
mean,
why we're in
Nigerians
court.
are holding their breaths to know exactly why you are so
everybody's
confident.
eager to see this trial start. That's why when we filed the petition, you can see how it went viral.
Everything goes viral if you pay the right people, right? This is Nigeria. But would you say that even those states where you did very well, those states where you got the House of Reps, you got the senators, you got governors, you got even one of the G5s was re-elected under the PDP. So would you say that if you ask for a rerun, would it be a rerun that would cover those states as well, or it's just in places where you allegedly did not do well that you would ask for a rerun? Does your evidence show something different?
Joy, let me make something clear to you.
Right.
You know, we have our own situation room.
Just like the Labour Party and the APC.
Yes. And we have about 180,000 polling units. And we have our agent in each and every polling unit, which the label do not have.
You might have to say that again. When you say, because we had about 177,000 polling units, really.
Yes.
And yes, of course, the PDP had all polling units.
100%.
Yes, 100% agents manning those polling units. That's true.
Yes, which the Labour Party do not have.
Okay.
They don't have the complete agents.
Right.
In each and every polling unit that we have an agent who has a smartphone, where he can video, where he can snap the results, the INEC official, and send it directly to the situation room.
Okay. Different from the pictures. One of the role of the beavers was to take those pictures and sign on
says the beavers sometimes, like some places it didn't work.
Right.
So we have evidence, pictures and videos. Will they deny them? If they deny them, will they deny their staffs? Which is something they can't. So we are ready for them in this time around. You know, people keep saying that you can change the whole process. More people like saying, okay, it's Nigeria. No. We believe the judiciary will do justice now. And then we believe the President Muhammadu Buhari is going to do justice as well. And with our evidence, trust me.
What happens to those states that you did well? Look at Lagos State, for instance. For the first time, we saw the Jagaban. We saw Asiwaju not doing well in his state, in Lagos State. But so what will happen to state where you did well.
If they're going to be a rerun?
No, I'm asking for, I just want to know what the PDP really wants. Are you asking for a rerun? And
if they're going to give us a rerun, it's going to be a free and fair. Trust me, by 3, 4 p.m., we won the election. Everybody knows. Nigeria have never rallied behind PDP like how they rallied behind PDP 2023. We went to this election peacefully and with a strong hope, knowing that we're going to win. Not just only the hope, believe, because we have everything in order. What do I mean by everything in order? We have worked properly. We make sure that we work down to the grassroots. We did not just do our campaign on social media. That's why in our support groups, each and every support groups have 11 members per polling unit. That was what we did. How many support groups do you think we have? We have more than 3,000 support groups. And each one of them, they have these members. And these people, worst case scenario, you will say, okay, 5 will go for me. Some may change their minds, but majority will surely go for the PDP. And by doing so, by having our agents have these informations, we have enough evidence in court. So let's go, we are waiting.
Wow. That's just as confident as some of the people in the Labour Party that I spoke with. So it's getting me it's making me laugh or chuckle a little bit there, because that's the much passion that the Labour Party had said it with.
We'll make sure we appoint Obi as a minister or something, a very big position.
Right. I don't know if Obi will be willing to do that. He has said it also.
If truly he loves Nigeria and if truly he wants to serve Nigeria, he would accept to work with Atiku Abubakar.
So hypothetically speaking, should the Supreme Court also not give a proclamation that your presidential candidate did not win, would we see Alhaji Atiku Abubakar working with Asiwaju in his government? If he really loves Nigeria, he works in any capacity, a powerful minister maybe?
That's a very good question.
Especially because you expect the Labour Party, with the love he has for the country, to come work with.
Exactly. Now let me refresh back at who truly Atiku Abubakar is. Atiku Abubakar is not a power monger. Atiku Abubakar is doing this for the youths and for the betterment of the country. This is someone that was begged. We begged him it took us about how many months to beg him that we make sure that he come out and contest again. And in any one of the sign of a good leader is somebody that will say, okay, I don't want to hold this position, let me just be on my own. We make sure that he come back and contests. On doing so, we did most of the things ourselves financially. We don't go for him for any financial support. We did it ourselves. That is a leader. And this is someone that always questions us. Make sure we become good law-abiding citizens. Make sure we obey the law. This is a true leader. And this is someone, even when President Muhammadu Buhari won his election in 2015, this is the same person that would call President Muhammadu Buhari, or he would request to see him so that he would give him advice. Why? Because he believed in the better Nigeria. He believed in Nigerian youths because he wants us to have a good life tomorrow, and if not even tomorrow, from today. So now tell me, if Asiwaju say, okay, please, Your Excellency, I need your support in this, surely the Atiku I know he will surely support.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, you just took me back to when he emerged candidates from the PDP. For someone who you had to beg for so long to recontest these elections, the alleged monies that were shared during the primaries cannot be explained. You would agree that there were
Shared
videos
by who?
shared
By who?
by candidates
Which
or
candidates?
aspirants in that primaries, the PDP primaries.
Which candidates? Do you have any evidence that Atiku shared money?
Allegedly, he did.
To who? Who collect the money? Who shared
At the time,
money?
delegates were smiling to the bank, and it is alleged that that's how he emerged candidate rather.
When the whole scenario was happening,
Oh, you do admit sharing did happen?
I said no.
Right.
And I can only answer to Atiku Abubakar. The other candidates, it is their own side for them to answer. They have their own people who can answer for them.
But did you see sharing of any sort
I
of
don't know
money?
because I didn't see any money. And just like I said, I can only answer on Atiku Abubakar's side.
Okay.
You know, there was a rumor that kept going around saying that, okay, Wike is going to win this because Wike is doing this, Wike is doing so many things. But have you ever seen a place where Atiku is calling delegate and giving them money?
We didn't even see nobody do
Atiku
that. But like I
Abubakar-
said, it's allegedly
Atiku Abubakar, the name only is an institute.
an institute.
Yes. Atiku Abubakar have reached a stage whereby he doesn't even need to pay money to get something done for him. He has passed that stage. He has served his country.
So what, was it people like you who used your funds to ensure you appeal to delegates? Let's not say share money, but appeal to delegates.
When you say use our funds, we travel. Yes, you can travel around. You need to spend money.
I mean,
need to pay
appealing,
for
I'm
it.
talking about the aspect, not just the logistics in ensuring that
We
delegates...
didn't do that.
Right.
For me, I didn't do that. I don't know others, but I didn't do that. And I was there. So that's all I can say for that part. And then you look at it closely, you know, you say, who truly is Atiku Abubakar? That's what we need to understand. You saw his press conference. People were thinking he's going to be arrogant. People were thinking he's going to make it bold. People were thinking he's going to make it incite something like a crisis or something. No. It's not a do or die affair. What we are fighting for is for a better Nigeria. I keep saying this. If there's no any interest that's going to support or that's going to help this country, we'll back out. But whatever it is, Atiku Abubakar has been fighting for democracy since when he was in university. This is not just the beginning, and this is not going to be the last. And we are going to support him, and we'll make sure that we get our mandate back. Okay,
now let's look at the voter intimidation. Recently, we are also seeing ethnic profiling and also the security situation that marred or characterized the election activities, the entire process. How does it make you feel that we're still in a country where people are killing each other because voting a certain way? We're seeing people still trying to snatch ballot boxes. We're seeing cases where you're intimidating people, oh, do not vote this party here and all of that. How does it make you feel? And if you have to suggest ways we can get past this kind of unwarranted attitude from some parts of some people rather, what would it be?
Well, it's so unfortunate. The only time we unite in this country is when we are watching football. That's the only time we unite. If something, for example, let's say something is happening in Lagos, something bad is happening. Somebody from Jigawa will be like, I don't care, let them go, it's their own territory. If it's happening in Sokoto, somebody in Urugu will be like, I don't care, you don't know my business. So we need to go back to make sure we get it right. And we need to call our religious leaders in order. They are the major problems, not politicians.
Religious leaders?
Sure.
Let me know how. What do you mean?
Let me give you an example now.
Right.
If the entire pastors and the malams should come together and say, go out and vote. Trust me, we will have that 91 million people on the queue.
All 97 million?
Or if we didn't get all, we'll get 95% of them. Because majority of us listen to our religious leaders more than the way we listen or our respect our governments or our political leaders. They need to preach what is right, irrespective of religion, irrespective of tribal ethnicity. They need to preach what is right in the book. It's not a business. You are serving God. Back then when we were kids, we used to know men of God as, how can I even put it? They are the most sweetest people you can ever come across.
They were saintly.
Because they don't care about even the worldly things. For example, you go to a religious leader, and you be like, for example, let's say, I know a person back then. We went to his house, we were hungry. The only rice he has, he bring it out and give it to us, irrespective of what his family are going to eat. Till date, we still respect that man.
Exactly. Before I get
That's-
into the respect, do you think we've had people in trying to support religious leaders who use their platform to campaign or bash other candidates? The justification is that, I mean, they are human beings with opinions as well. So what would you say about that? Because we also saw people, religious leaders use those
When you
platforms.
become a religious leader, or when you call yourself a religious leader, it's not about your opinion anymore. It's about what is right. If you're a Muslim, it's what the Quran says. If you're a Christian, what the Bible says.
So if I perceive that what is right is a certain candidate, would you say that the fact that they supported a candidate using that platform that people consider sacred caused the apathy that we saw?
We
or
the
the
Muslims,
violence that we saw?
let me give you an example. Like we the Muslims, the best thing you can do is to wish for the best. Pray to God. God, please choose the best for us. What we're saying now is just like business. You see a religious leader doing one or two things, a religious leader going to politician's house or somebody. Back then we used to know that the leaders, they were the ones that used to go to their place to go and seek knowledge or to go and get advice or to see what they can add to the table so that we can have a better country. That's what we expecting to have, but it's not like that anymore now. So we need to go back then. We need to understand how it is properly first. Then we need to work, and then we need to stay as brothers and sisters.
Married back to the violence that we saw, the intimidation, the violence, the security breaches in some states. How do you think religious leaders could have done better in ensuring that didn't happen? And again, I would just talk about the influence, because you just admitted that there was such a time where we held them in such high esteem. Do you think Nigerians still hold religious leaders in such high esteem?
Very few of them. Because you can see even on phones, you can see most of our comedians mocking some of them. Why mocking them if we respect them? So mocking is a sign of disrespect. And then the politician as well. We need to, how do you even get to that position before you call yourself a politician? Are you in politics to get money? Are you in politics to serve people? We can easily note such politicians. Like this afternoon, I was saying a post to a friend of mine posted something on his status. He was like saying, now the election is over, and yet I haven't seen any politician give a Ramadan package. So, what you guys have collected in the last election, manage it.
Exactly.
Then you should know those politicians are not true politicians. This is the time that all of them will disappear. Why? Because they don't want to serve the people. Our senators, our reps are preparing on how to relocate to Abuja. What are they going to do in Abuja? They're not supposed to be sitting in Abuja. They are actually supposed to be sitting in their own districts, their own constituency. If you have sitting, you fly down to Abuja. That's why you have sitting allowances. Then you fly down, You do your meeting and then you go back. But some of them will spend a year, 2 years without even going to their own village. Some of them can't even go to their villages because they are afraid. Insecurity, so on and so forth. So what is happening?
So who voted
now,
for them? If they
the
can't
same
even-
people.
Right.
The same people. So now you ask yourself a question. What is actually happening? And we can tackle all this. Imagine all our senators and all our reps are sitting and they are basing in their own constituencies. Do you think we're going to have insecurity like this? Do you think they will live where there's insecurity?
That's a very good point.
So that's what we need to ask ourselves. But unfortunately, they will leave after 4 years. They will fly back with their families. Well, you know, in their houses, you won't even know you are in their villages until when you come outside. Even in their own villages. They have very luxury home, standby generator, solar, everything is there for them.
Okay. The new administration, you just made a very good point. Would you suggest this to the new administration, whoever emerges come May 29th? Is it something you will suggest that all lawmakers, for instance, should go back to their
We
constituencies?
need to get it right, whether we like it or not. We need to get it right. It's high time. It's not about my own opinion. It's what's good for all of us.
It's an opinion that you have, and it's a very, very wonderful opinion. I'm asking if you would take it a notch further to ensure that the new administration takes it.
They know better.
They don't know. If
They
they
know.
did, if they did, we would see the security
Let me-
situation in the country get better. So I'm talking about citizen participation. If you are shying away from this, and other Nigerians who probably have good intentions and noble ideas shy away from it, we just would have to contend with the country that we see. So you, having had this good idea, and it would also curb security challenges in the country, would you suggest it to the new administration?
I just said it now. I'm sure some of them are watching, so they can pick it up from there.
Right.
I'm a PDP member, and I will be a PDP member. I'm not going to the camp. We're trying to set a new generation whereby we'll be true party loyalists. And then we'll make sure we get it right this time around. That's why this is what Atiku Abubakar taught us how to go about
Right.
running the government. Because, you see, so many things are happening. We need to understand where we're actually heading to. All of us.
Right.
We have about 360-something members House of Reps, 109 senators, and then we have the governors. Are they superior to something or what? All of them are not superior. We are all servants of the people.
Right.
So if the people can actually vote for the right candidates, we can get a new change from there. Because I still can't understand somebody who doesn't care about you, who doesn't give you road, who doesn't give you good drinking water, who doesn't give you electricity, who doesn't give you health facility,
right.
will still come back to you after 3 years and said, take a wrapper, take Indomie,
And that
take
suffices for
spaghetti,
you.
and then you still go ahead and then vote for that person. Or somebody will walk onto you, somebody who is the degree holder, even a doctor, will still come to you and say, what are you going to give me? If you're not giving me anything, I'm going to vote for anybody I like. Oh, where are we heading to?
Exactly.
And
But
the same,
before
and the
I
same-
let you go,
the same university professors who are complaining. And then we see so many cases whereby a youth copper will connive with a politician to rig election.
quite sad, I must agree. But would you say it is this reawakening that has affected the PDP in terms of support? I mean, until 2015, the PDP held on to power, and we saw them gradually lose state until this moment where we are seeing the APC champion. Would you say it is this same thing you're saying, the fact that that social contract that people signed with the leaders that did not deliver, and that's why you're seeing the PDP seem a little shaky at the moment? Unfortunately, we don't have much time, so you would have to reply in a couple of sentences, maybe in a minute.
Well, so many things happened. You know, this election, we actually went to this election with the belief of what President Muhammadu Buhari said. He promised us a free and fair election. And then we strongly believe in it. Now the INEC haven't spent the billions
305 billion to be precise.
of naira. And then you still come to me and say, on the same, that very day, that so have faults, also have faults. So who is fooling who? And then I'm still calling on the President Muhammadu Buhari, should please stick to his words. We Nigerians, we are watching.
Okay, Honorable Idris Ibrahim Kalgo, I mean, you deflected there, but I'll let you go because we're running out of time. There's so much I would have really loved us to continue speaking about, but again, it's a good time we've spent here.
Thank you.
He is the national team lead Atiku Youth Wing, Honorable Idris Ibrahim Kalgo. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Joy Asonye, and this is where we roll the curtains. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, to give you more. Have a wonderful day.